Aren't her headaches getting any better?
She says they are, but she's still taking the medication. Justin, I'm very concerned about her. Now, I don't question your judgment, but we have never heard of this Dr. Fisher she's seeing.
We were also wondering why you didn't recommend a neurologist on the staff here at Cedars.
I hope you're not offended because we want to know more about...
No, of course not. I don't know how much Lucille's told you, but Dr. Fisher's not a neurologist.
What?
What kind of...
I assumed that he was a neurologist because of the nature of her symptoms.
What kind of doctor did you recommend to her?
Dr. Ingrid Fisher is a psychiatrist. Your mother's always been convinced that her headaches stem from some, psychological stress rather than from any physical problem.
My mother agreed to have psychiatric help on her own? I can't believe that.
Well, Dr. Fisher's not on staff here at Cedars, and I feel that Lucille felt a lot more comfortable seeing her.
Well, all the same, I'm happy that my mother is progressive enough in her thinking to realize that she does have psychological problems and to try to do something about them.
Justin, is Dr. Fisher the only doctor that you recommended to Lucille?
Well, yes. Why?
Well, I don't know that much about medicine, but seeing as how she was having all these severe headaches, I assumed that she was seeing a neurologist.
Well, if she's seeing someone else, I don't know anything about it.
That doesn't make sense.
What doesn't, then?
Nothing. I guess I just can't get used to the idea that she's together enough to see a psychiatrist.
Well, I'm very happy she is. Thank you for encouraging her to go.
No, Dr. Fisher's one of the best, and I feel if anyone can help Lucille.
My condition is too advanced to be helped by surgery. They won't tell me how much time I have, but I have the feeling it isn't very long. I'm sorry, Ben.
Lucille, I don't know what to say.
Just don't tell Amanda. I'll talk to her when the time comes.
Don't you agree, Ben?
Hmm?
You haven't heard one word we've been saying, have you?
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking about something else.
In your case, my professional opinion is that you need the help hypnosis can offer you.
No, I'll never consent to it.
I'm sorry you feel that way, Mrs. Wexler, because I can't continue taking your money when I can offer you nothing in return. Maybe you find it easier to work with another doctor. I'd be glad to recommend another one.
Oh, excuse me, Dr. Fisher. Are you dismissing me as a patient?
No. I'm just admitting that I've failed completely to gain your trust and confidence. And without that, I can't offer you the help you need. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you needn't be. I was thinking of looking for another doctor since I met Elizabeth Marley here. I mean, our relationship is no longer confidential.
That's your prerogative, of course. But I would examine your reasons behind this decision very carefully, because I think it is a very big part of your problem.
My reasons, Dr. Fisher, are simply that I do not wish my personal life to be public knowledge.
You mean that you need help and you're seeing a psychiatrist?
Whatever.
Mrs. Wexler, I really must be going now. If you should want to work with another analyst, I'd be glad to help you find one.
Thank you. If I decide to do that, I will contact you.
May I just say one more thing? I urge you to consult with another doctor, Mrs. Wexler. I feel your condition is extremely dangerous, not only to yourself, but to all those people that you come in daily contact with.
Dangerous? Dr. Fisher, that's preposterous.
I can only offer you my professional opinion, and that is, you are capable, if forced to by these pressures you refuse to talk about, of causing serious physical harm to the people closest to you. So that's the way I would like you to see another doctor who could help you before you destroy everything that's dearest to you in life.
And now, the guiding light. This portion is presented by Ivory. There's a pure, natural kind of clean when you lather up with Ivory. And by Quilted Pampers. They help keep baby dry.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, Justin. What you said clears up a lot. Thanks.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
If you don't want us to tell Mother where we heard she's seeing a psychiatrist, we won't.
Well, that's up to you. I don't feel like I'm violating any confidence.
Well, she trusts you very much, and I don't want to do anything to change that.
Well, it was good to see you two again.
Thank you. We'd like to have you and Elizabeth over for dinner sometime.
Well, that sounds wonderful, except that I've rented a cottage in the mountains for the summer. And as soon as Philip's out of school, he and Elizabeth are going to move up there permanently, and I'm going to come up on weekends, so...
Well, in that case, we'll pick a night before school's out.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Looking forward to it. We'll see you.
Take care.
You must feel relieved,
Why?
because you were a lot more concerned about Mother's headaches than I ever was. And does it make you feel better that it's nothing physical?
Yeah, sure. You ready to go?
Oh, Morgan Richards must have left. I wanted to say hello to her.
Hey, what's wrong?
Morgan Richards. She just blew up at me like you cannot believe.
Why?
A good question. Tim, Morgan, Sarah, and I were all sitting here, and Sarah and I were doing a pretty good job of convincing Tim that that newspaper article wasn't going to do him that much harm.
So far, so good.
Yeah, and then, well, Sarah got up and left, and then Floyd came over.
Mr. Diplomacy.
Really, and right away he started in with Tim about how hard it must have been for him to prove that he was innocent since the girl that he was supposed to have gotten pregnant is dead, and at which point Tim got upset and split.
Well, I can't really blame him. I don't understand. Why did Morgan read you the riot act if Floyd's the one who got him upset?
Because, and I quote, she is made sick by my know-it-all attitude, and who the hell do I think I am giving out advice when only she and Tim know what really is going on at Springfield High? Do you want me to go on?
No, I get the picture. So where's she now?
Well, who the hell knows? Well, Tim was supposed to meet her in the lobby for me.
Kelly, this is easy for me to say, but I don't think you should take anything Morgan Richards says too personally.
You know, I guess you're right. I mean, the kid's only 16 years old, and she's had a rough go of it lately. What I don't understand is why someone in her position would rather be a prophet of doom than try to be optimistic about things.
Well,
Actually, I guess I do understand it. What does a girl who just lost her father have to be optimistic about, right? I guess all she can see in the future is grief and sadness.
Is the lecture over now, Dr. Freud?
Listen, I told you a long time ago not to get me started because I don't know when to stop, right?
I try so hard to remember that.
It's just that people are so fascinating, especially someone like Morgan who's so hostile and antagonistic toward me for no reason.
Excuse me, Doctor. I have to get back to the desk. I just thought maybe I could slip in an interjection here with a question.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if you're still on for tonight.
Sure. Listen, we can have dinner either before the concert or after it. It's up to you.
Well, I found out that Katie's going to be having dinner at Nola Reardon's boarding house with Nola and you-know-who. So I thought maybe I could whip up a, simple little dinner at the apartment around 7 or so.
Sounds great.
Okay, good.
Hey, listen, you want some company walking back to the desk?
Sure.
I just want to tell you, I am really glad that you are the even-tempered type.
Is that a nice way of saying I'm boring?
No way. I couldn't take someone like Morgan Richards on a steady diet, man. She'd drive me right up the wall.
You? Driven up the wall? Dr. Freud? Oh.
Miss, you have been telling me how busy Dr. Lacrosse is ever since I first met you weeks ago. The excuse is wearing thin. I know it's an excuse. I'm not guessing. Well, thank you so much. Now, you do something for me, would you? You tell Dr. Lacrosse if he doesn't call me very soon, I will confer with my lawyer here in Springfield. We will get a court order, and we will take the information we need from the hospital files. I don't want to resort to legal action either, and I will if I have to. Yes, you do that. Goodbye. I think I've already guessed the truth. Philip isn't my son, but he is Alan's by one of his mistresses. How could he have done such a hideous thing to me?
You're not disturbing me at all, Dr. McIntyre. Please come in. I bumped into Morgan and Tim at the hospital, and she didn't have a way to get home, so I offered to give her a lift so I could stop in and say hello to you.
Good. Where is Morgan?
Oh, she and Tim have gone for a walk in the park. It's such a gorgeous day. And I guess with the kind of day that Tim has had, he needs a chance to get his head together a little bit.
I've read the article in the newspaper.
Yes, I figured you probably had.
Is he very upset by it?
Yes, but he's glad that he pursued the truth, and he's glad that he cleared his name. And we're just so grateful to Mike for all the help that he gave us.
Mike, he can't seem to do enough for Morgan and me. You know, I was just going to have some tea. Would you like to join me?
Oh, I'd love some, thank you.
Good. Would you like a biscuit or something?
Oh, no, just tea's fine.
All right, fine. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Right. Well, how have you been feeling?
Well, actually, I'm feeling so much better. I'm bored being here in the apartment by myself with Morgan back in school, thanks to Tim.
Oh, well, he had a little bit of difficulty persuading her. But perhaps now that you've...
There you
Oh, thank you very much. Perhaps since you've decided to stay in Springfield at least until the end of the school year, maybe Morgan will discover that Springfield isn't such a bad place to be after all.
Well, I don't know about staying in Springfield, but I don't think Morgan should be taken out of school. Not after everything we've been through.
No, I can certainly understand that. And then, of course, there's your job with Lucille Wexler. I mean, you'll start as soon as you're strong enough.
Dr. Wheeler came by this morning, examined me. He said I could go over there tomorrow.
Oh, really? So soon?
Yeah. Well, not to start work, actually, just to meet with Mrs. Wexler and find out everything that I'll be in charge of.
Oh, that's an awfully big job for one woman to handle all by herself.
Actually, I won't be doing it by myself. I'll be supervising a staff, planning menus, ordering food, you know, things like that.
Oh.
Never done anything like that before, but I'm willing to try.
Did you stay home when Morgan was small, or have you always worked?
Well, no, not always. Before I was married, I worked in a bookstore. I was in charge of the lending library. I loved it. I love books. In fact, when I told Mrs. Wexler about it, she was very happy. You know, I think she'll welcome the idea of me being her companion. She seems like such a lonely lady.
Yeah. I don't know her very well at all, but I can imagine, you know, with her daughter grown and married and off now. I guess it would be quite lonely in that big house all by herself.
Yes.
The nerve of that woman thinking I'd allow her to hypnotize me so she could find out the truth about Amanda. No one ever knows she's really Alan Spaulding's daughter. And no one ever will, no matter what else I'm forced to. Who is it? Who's there?
It's only us. Oh, I'm sorry if we frightened
It's all right.
I just thought it was easier to use my tea.
Yes, it's all right. Hello, Ben.
Hello?
Well, where are you two? I stopped by the cottage when I came back from the doctor's. Neither one of you was there.
Oh, well, we spent longer amount of time at Spalding Enterprises than we had anticipated. Ben had a lot of graphics to go over, and my meeting with Alan just seemed to go on and on.
Was he briefing you on your trip to Chicago?
Yes, and he was very patient with me. It was wonderful.
Oh, good. Would you join me in some sherry, Mother?
Sure. We can't stay very long, Mother. I have to get dinner started.
Uh-huh. I had some very good news today. Mrs. Richards called, and she said she was going to come by tomorrow and discuss her duties.
Well, that's marvelous. I was hoping she'd be able to start soon.
Well, I don't know about that, darling, but it is a beginning.
Ben and I saw her daughter this afternoon.
Did you? Where?
Thank you. At the hospital.
The hospital? What were you doing there, Ben? There's nothing wrong with you again, is there?
No, it's nothing like that.
Oh, well, good.
Mother, Ben and I have been very worried about you.
Darling, there's no reason to be.
Well, we have been all the same. So we went to the hospital to talk to Justin Marler.
Why would you do that? I mean, you know Dr. Marler gave me over to another doctor.
Exactly. And that's who we talked about. Dr. Fisher.
The Guiding Light. This portion has been presented by Biz, the detergent booster that adds extra cleaning power every time you wash. And by Prel Concentrate, from flat to fluffy with just a squeeze. We'll continue with part 2 of The Guiding Light in a moment. And now, part 2 of The Guiding Light.
Are you sure, Hillary? I don't want to go in looking like a slob compared to everybody else.
Oh, Katie, you're going to be fine. Besides, according to Floyd, and all of this boarding house is pretty casual. You could just ask Floyd what he thinks when he comes.
I should ask Floyd if he'd just let me finish my mystery novel or watch TV or do something interesting.
Katie, I really sympathize with you. I know what you're going through. I've gone through it myself.
I know.
And I remember exactly how I reacted. I wanted to stay home all the time, and I didn't want to see people, and believe me, it doesn't work.
Guess who asked me out today? Wayne Davis. Do you know that new resident?
You don't have to tell me who Wayne Davis is. Tall, good-looking, curly hair, blue eyes, white shoulders.
I said no.
Why? Are you out of your mind?
Well, I don't know. It's just that he's a resident, and he works at Sears, and he reminds me of Mark.
I see. Well, in that case, Katie, I think you better either get a new job or you should start going to the singles bars, because with that attitude, everybody at Cedars is going to remind you of Mark Hamilton.
No, I couldn't do singles bars. I can't stand the guys that hang out there.
Oh. Well, maybe we should just start a list of pet peeves right now.
No, we don't need to start a list of pet peeves. What time's Kelly coming over?
7. But I don't see what that has to do with what we were just talking about.
Well, it's none of my business, really, but aren't you two getting kind of serious?
Well, we like going out a lot, and he's really easy to talk to, and yeah, he's very mature for his age.
Go on.
Well, that's about it. I really like him a lot, and I think he likes me, too.
You know, I think that must be where Mark and I made our mistake. I mean, we never really got to know each other. And we didn't know if we liked each other or not.
Well, personally, I just think you're lucky to have found out what kind of guy he is before you got married to him.
Yeah, but if I'd been able to know that kind of side of Mark's personality, I might have been able to change it. And then, no, I couldn't have changed Mark Hamilton, and why should I try, right?
Right.
If I have one more relationship with a man, I'm going to make very certain that we are very good friends before I let the relationship go one step further, just like you and Kelly.
Yeah. Of course, the problem there could be that you get to be such good friends, you're never going to be anything else. Well, I had to go get that dinner ready. I'm not going to be late for that concert.
My daughter may try to act worldly and sophisticated, but she's never gone out with many boys, you know. She, in fact, has never been as close to anyone as she is to Tim.
I see. Well, I think that probably is because neither one of them have very many friends their own age here in Springfield, and also both of them have registered in school towards the end of the school year, and that's difficult, and I guess they tend to rely on each other for moral support.
Yes, I suppose so. Well, Tim is a wonderful boy.
Oh. Thank you. Well, I've been very lucky, I think. And of course, I think it's easier being the mother of a teenage boy than a teenage girl, especially a pretty one like Morgan.
Yes, as much as I love Morgan, she can be trying at times.
Yes, I'm sure, but I think you've done a marvelous job raising her.
I hope so. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Well, it's nice to see you. And thank you for the tea. And when Tim gets back, just tell him that I'll have dinner waiting when he gets home.
I will.
Okay.
Goodbye, Dr. McIntyre.
You take care of yourself now.
I will. Bye.
Richards?
Yes.
I'm a friend of Morgan's. I was wondering if I could speak with her.
No, darling. I'm not in the least bit embarrassed. It's just that I didn't want anyone to know that I was seeing a psychiatrist.
I'm not anyone, Mother.
Darling, you're not angry with me, are you?
Angry? I'm very proud of you that you went to see Dr. Fisher. Aren't you, Ben?
Since we talked to Justin, a lot of things are starting to make sense.
I think I understand now why you were so understanding when Ben and I told you that we were married, and when this trip came up that I'm taking to Chicago. You didn't react the way I thought you were going to.
No, darling, of course not. Since I've been seeing Dr. Fisher, I've been relieved of a great many pressures I've had over the last few years. Just today, she was telling me that I'd made great strides as a patient.
It must be hard being that totally honest about yourself.
Well, yes. Yes, it is, Ben. But then the rewards are so great.
Well, I think we better get going. I really have to start dinner. Mother, would you like to join us tonight?
Oh, thank you, darling. No, I don't think so.
Well, if you change your mind, there's plenty, right?
Thank you.
I think that I'll stay and finish my sherry.
Okay, but don't be too long. Mother, again, I think it's marvelous that you're seeing Dr. Fisher.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
I think it's marvelous, too, Lucille.
Can I pour you another sherry?
No, thanks.
You don't mind if I have one?
I thought you weren't supposed to have too much alcohol. Doctor's orders, remember? Or doesn't it really matter now that you only have a few months to live?
Oh, Ben, please, will you keep your voice down? Amanda's not left the house.
Oh, Lucille, come off it, will you? Now, what the hell was that about your headaches being so serious that the doctors had given up hope?
Why are you so suddenly so angry at me?
Because you lied to me, that's why.
I certainly didn't. I was telling you the truth.
Oh, really? Since when does a psychiatrist tell a patient that their condition is inoperable?
Dr. Fisher didn't tell me that.
Well, who did then? Certainly not Justin Marler.
Now, please, I will gladly explain to you. Just stop staring at me as though I'd done something terribly wrong.
Man, you know, all that garbage that you laid on me about surgeons and only having a few days.
Ben, will you let me talk?
You know, I even persuaded Amanda to be nice to you because you put on such a good act.
Ben, I swear to you, I was telling you the truth.
Lucille, people with physical ailments do not go to psychiatrists to be healed.
I went to see Dr. Fisher on Dr. Marler's advice because I was praying that my headaches were caused by some mental strain.
Mm-hmm. Oh, please go on.
Well, when I went to see Dr. Fisher, she insisted that I have a physical examination. Part of that was a series of neurological tests. You remember I told you about those tests?
Yes, I remember.
Well, the results of those tests were just as I told you. And now I'm continuing to see Dr. Fisher, and I will continue until I can accept the fact that my condition is inoperable.
I'd say you're doing an incredible job.
Thank you. But if it weren't for Dr. Fisher, I would be wallowing in self-pity. I'm sure I couldn't face Amanda without breaking down and telling her the hideous truth.
Yeah, your restraint is admirable.
I can tell you still don't believe me.
Why should I?
Then I am telling you the truth. Why would I make up such a terrible story about myself?
Who knows what your reasons are for anything you do, Lucille? You know, I have warned Amanda so many times not to take anything you say at face value. Yeah, I mean, I should learn to listen to my own advice.
No, Ben! Please! I am struggling so hard to come to grips with the realities of my condition, and I cannot take this relentless punishment from you. Please leave me. Leave me in peace.
Lucille, if you are really as sick as you say you are, believe me, no one feels more sorry for you than I do. That's right, if. But if I ever find out that you've been lying to me, whatever the reason, so help me, I'll go straight to Amanda with the whole story, and she will never forgive you.
Well, according to the neurologist's report, you'll find out that I was telling you the truth soon enough.
Maybe, but I'm not going to wait for that to happen. I'm going to do a little investigating on my own here. Have a nice evening. I'll show myself out.
And then this other guy who works at the hospital came up and started talking about the newspaper article, at which point Tim got upset and stormed out.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Kelly, but I don't understand what this has to do with your Morgan getting upset with you.
Well, see, Morgan then accused me of being a big know-it-all, and she stormed out before I had a chance to defend myself.
Kelly, can I say something to you?
Sure.
This thing that's gone on between you and Morgan today, it goes on between Morgan and me all the time. She's very temperamental. She flares up very easily.
I have to agree with you there. But I was only trying to help Tim out.
Well, that's all Mike Bauer was trying to do after our accident, but Morgan lashed out at him a number of times. You see, Kelly, even though Morgan may try to appear worldly and sophisticated, underneath she's a very immature young girl. And if you ever tell her I told you that, you will really see an explosion.
I understand. But, you know, I feel like I should talk things out with her so there's no hard feelings.
I appreciate your wanting to talk to her, but I feel I should warn you, knowing Morgan, you may just end up getting hurt.
I'm home. I invited Tim up, but he said, what's he doing here? Oh, let me see. Knives, forks, coffee cups, saucers, wearing fluff. Why don't we have a crystal vase around here?
A vase?
Vase.
Vase?
Vase is the proper way to pronounce it.
Oh, I see.
Miss High and Mighty.
Honey, I don't know, Ivory. 6 kids before you. You're the only one I know that has any heirs.
I just want things to look nice, that's all.
I know.
Oh, goodness.
You know what your problem is? I think you see too many of those movies about the kings and the queens and all those people that live in big fancy palaces. I think that's what it is.
Well, maybe I do. But, at least I don't have to share my home with a bunch of strangers. Oh, you ought to see Dr. Bauer's house. Gosh, it's so beautiful. Big gardens and biggest swimming pool I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, there's my favorite lady now. Hi, B.
How you doing, honey?
Good. I'm doing real fine. Say, B, I'd like to meet Katie.
How do you do, Mrs. Reardon?
My hands are all wet, honey. Can't shake hands.
Oh, that's all right. Just wipe them off on your apron. Katie don't mind. You know, she's family.
Call me B, everybody does.
All right, B. Everything looks delicious outside.
Honey, what's outside is for the boarders, I'm afraid. But we're going to eat in here just as soon as Nola serves them outside.
Oh, okay.
Well, what are you waiting for? There's the fridge. You know where the beer is.
Ah,
There's your beer.
yeah.
I think Katie would really rather have wine. I'm going to have wine.
Actually, I would. Thank you, Nola.
Say, Nola, you pour it this time. Last time I did, you got angry because I filled the glasses all the way to the top. You gonna join me in some suds here, B?
You know the answer to that.
Thank you.
Sure am.
The table looks lovely.
Oh, thanks.
Well, yeah. Say, what are you trying to make a liar out of me with this fancy tablecloth here and these dishes? I told Katie everything is real, casual around here.
Oh, come on. Mom and I always use our good tableware when we have company.
Oh, thank you. Listen, honey, why don't you go on outside and take care of the boarders, okay? Before they start stomping on the table. They love my cooking.
Ah.
Floyd told me you were a wonderful cook.
The best. Here's looking at you, B.
Thanks. Oh, it's great. It's ice cold. Yeah, I love it.
Great.
I'll be right back.
So was I lying when I told you what a looker my sister was, B?
Nope, not at all. Listen, before Nola comes back, I just wanted to tell you how sorry I was about what happened between you and your boyfriend. Not too many people know about this, but pretty much the same thing happened between me and Mr. Reardon.
No, I didn't know that.
Only Hugh Reardon waited until I had 6 kids and little Nola before he took off.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, man, what can you expect of them? Especially the handsome ones. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. No offense.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? You can't live with him, you can't live without him.
Certainly like to try.
I don't know why you're making such a big thing out of all of this.
Because it is a big thing to me. I don't like to be misunderstood.
I understood exactly what you were saying. I mean, if you're waiting for me to apologize...
No, that's not why I came here. I just want you to realize that I wasn't trying to be a know-it-all or a superior or whatever you call it.
Well, you could have fooled me and Tim.
Well, I'll work that out with him later, but in the meantime, I know you two are friendly, and Tim Warner's a good friend of mine, so as long as you're still in Springfield, I think we should try to keep things cool between us.
The only thing that you should cool is giving out advice you know nothing about.
Look, I've been through some rough times myself, Morgan. If I can help Tim out with my experience, damn it, I'm going to.
Well, fine. If Tim wants to listen to your lectures, that's all right with me, but don't try them out on me first.
Are you still planning to go to Ed's picnic?
Are you?
Sure, I live there.
Well, in that case, Tim and I might just skip it. I'm really not in the mood for lectures about how I shouldn't feel like an outsider in a school where I don't know anyone and where I really don't want to.
You're never going to meet anybody with that attitude.
Fine, I don't care.
Listen, I don't know about you, but I have better things to do with my time than waste it trying to straighten things out with someone who isn't interested.
That makes 2 of us.
Yes, well, say goodbye to your mom for me, okay? Just one more thing.
More?
Yeah. I'd really like to see things go well for you here at Springfield, but there's no way they're going to as long as you walk around with that king-size chip on your shoulder.
Ah, there you are.
Hello.
Hi. Listen, Philip asked me to thank you for helping him with his math. He said the rest of it's going very well.
Oh, good.
Is he? Can I talk to you for a minute?
Sure.
Well... Listen, I've been meaning to say this for a while. You remember a while ago when you were upset and I was so worried about you?
Yes.
You asked me to let you work things out by yourself. I guess that's really what I want to say now. Don't worry about me, all right? And let me work things out by myself.
Can you do it alone?
Remember the other day I went to see Sarah? I asked her to recommend a psychiatrist.
Really? Who is it?
Ingrid Fisher. I like her. She's a nice lady. She's easy to talk to. I think it's what I need.
Well, I've recommended patients to Dr. Fisher. She's excellent.
Good. Glad you like her.
I'm very proud of you for acknowledging the fact that you need help with your problem. That's always the first and the hardest step.
More than anything, I wish we could have a child. Just
I told you I didn't care about that. I love Philip very, very much. Not possible to love him any more than I do.
I know. So be patient with me and give me time to work things out, all right?
I will. But go easy on Philip with your problems, huh? He loves you very much, and he doesn't understand when you blow up and get mad at
Oh,
him.
Justin, I know that. I know that better than anyone. I've already apologized to him. I think he's all right. I hope he is.
And we both have to realize that Philip's at that very difficult age. He's not a little boy anymore, and he's certainly not a man yet. So if you're going to get frustrated, you need to take that frustration out on someone, take it out on me
Justin, you
instead of
already
him.
said that to me. Look, I know these things. Don't forget I'm his mother. I know him better than anybody else. I know him better than you. I know him better than Alan. I certainly know him better than Jackie. Graces him with a present every other month if she has a minute.
How did Jackie and Alan get into this conversation?
You know what I mean.
No, I don't know what you mean. Let's get back to the point.
Which was?
The point is your relationship with Philip.
I know about my relationship with Philip. I'm his mother. I don't need you or anyone else to instruct me concerning it. If you don't mind, I'll start dinner.
Don't tell me you expected Morgan Richards to get down on her knees and beg for forgiveness.
No, but I do expect people to be able to talk out their problems like adults.
Well, I just wouldn't take anything she says too personally. I know I didn't when she was at the hospital.
Yeah, her mom said she has to put up with Morgan's temper a lot, too.
You know, I think the only one who's ever reached her is Bert. The rest of us just wised up and quit trying.
Well, not me.
Certainly not old hardhead's gonna stick with it through the bitter end, huh?
What can I say? I don't accept defeat easily. And I wouldn't have had to in Morgan's case if I just hadn't blown up and walked out of there. You know, I'm guilty of the same thing I accused her of.
Well, maybe, but look at what you would have missed if you would have stayed. Soft lighting. I'm trying to save on electricity. I'll put on some music. Lovely dinner for... dinner.
You forgot to cook dinner.
I forgot to turn off the oven. Oh, well. I hope you don't mind a roast that vaguely resembles a hockey puck.
Not a bit. Come here. Do you have any idea how glad I am I met you when I first came to Springfield?
Wow. I think so. Of course, it never hurts to be reminded.
Floyd, could you not eat just yet? I mean, why don't you wait till Noah?
I don't want it to get cold, you know?
The light.
Hey, what's going on? You got a power failure or something?
No. This is called mood lighting.
Oh.
for a more conducive atmosphere for conversation around dinner.
You don't need to turn off the lights. Your mom's cooking is the most conducive thing I ever ate. Right, Katie?
Right. Delicious.
Mmm.
Well, I'm glad you like it. I hope everybody outside likes it as well.
Oh, I don't know. I think they'd just about eat everything.
Hey, no, that's no way to talk. You know, those boarders love your mom's food just as much as I do. Isn't this the homiest atmosphere that you've been in since we've been out on our own, Kitty?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much it reminds me of when we were growing up.
No, it makes me feel real good to hear you say that. You know, when you have to turn your own home into a boarding house, you wonder if you're ever going to feel like it's yours. I think Nola and I have managed to do that, don't you, honey?
I guess so. Wasn't there ever a time, Katie, when you just wanted to scream your lungs out?
Not only was there, but I usually did.
That's what I love about you more than anything, Nola. Your sense of humor. Here you are, you're sitting in the lap of luxury, and you're talking about screaming out your lungs. You're a riot.
What's that, a doorbell?
Oh, we should be so lucky. No, that's one of the boarders, either wanting something he doesn't have or complaining about something he's got. Honey, I think you better go see about it. Please?
I'll discuss the details with you tomorrow, Ross. The situation with Ben and Amanda is becoming more and more unbearable. Yes, but it's just taking too long. Every time I see Ben now, I just want... Look, it just upsets me terribly. Fine. But Mrs. Richards is going to be here, so we have to be careful that she doesn't overhear our conversation, all right? Yes, all right. I'll see you then. Yes, good night.